Hey y'all, it's Comrade21 back. I'm going to show you how to set up a way to use that power that you just started getting out of the nether. Setting up something to use all that lava. You could place it up here at the top, but it can take up a lot of space. So, I just finished expanding my house. It was like, from here that way, and I added all that, but it still takes up a lot of space, and I don't usually leave my machines all the way up here anyway. So usually I'll just, come down a little ways, and maybe like right here or something, like where I've got my farm. You can set it up there, so that way you can just run power up to your machines that are in your house, if that's what you want. But I usually put my machines all the way at the bottom of my mine, because later in the game I set up a system that automatically sorts all my resources, and it turns like all the ores, it turns them into back just down into their ingots automatically, cooks everything, gets rid of all the cobblestone, runs it into recyclers so that I can get scrap and use that in my mass fabricator. So I'll show you guys how to do that later. Put your machines wherever you want them, obviously. I just put them down at the very bottom. I've also got 20 geothermal generators, which is a lot more than you're probably going to start with. Maybe you want to start with like 2, or even just 1 isn't bad. There's no bad number. It's just that 20 is a lot to start with. And I recommend you set them up like this, where you've got one row of them, and then over here you've got another row of them. Or if you've just got one, you place it back here. When you get a second one, you put it here, kind of a thing. That way you can just run your waterproof pipes right down the center, and it plugs into all of them. Okay. Do not run your waterproof pipes in the top. That's where the power comes out, at the easiest spot. So just don't run them in the top and you'll be good. You can technically run the power out any of the slots, it's just a lot more difficult to do it otherwise. So, set them up however you want, obviously. That's how I recommend doing it. Just running a line of them and plugging them all together like so. Then you're going to want to put these phased transport pipes on either end. And depending on how long it is, probably in the middle too. I mean, if you're running 4 generators, you're only going to need one of these phase pipes. But I'm just going to run quite a bunch of them. Remember, we set it to frequency 1, and then we want to set it to send and receive on the public channel. And as you can see, we're already starting to get lava in here, and it's filling up these generators. Let's start getting it on all of these. So they're starting to fill up here. It'll take a while because I've got to fill all of them. They've got a lot of I don't want to use the word cargo space, but that's essentially what it is. They've got a lot of space of lava they can carry, and I'm trying to fill a bunch of them. So it'll take a while for that. No big deal. While we're waiting, we can set up this a spot to store any of the power we make. That way our generators don't need to turn on every time we get a machine and turn off every time the machine decides it doesn't want to run anymore. So we got an MFE here. I'll set that up, and I really don't have much room here to expand this way, and I don't want to expand that way because of my ladder. So like if I decide, I don't have enough power here and I want to do another, I can set, a row of these geothermal generators right in front of these, and then a row here as well, and then just run the power in, or not the power, but the lava in right in the center between them, and just keep doing that as we go. But for now, I'm just going to set my battery, essentially, the MFE here. It shows how much power it's got, how much it can output, 120 EU a tick. EU is just the measure of electricity for this. There's also MJ, which is Minecraft joules. I don't know exactly what EU stands for, but it's the much easier side of the spectrum to work on. So I'll just do that. You can set stuff here on its redstone, and then it puts like little notices down here. So when it chooses to emit electricity. So don't put anything out unless we're full. Do nothing. Only put stuff out if we're full. Put stuff out if we're partially filled. Only emit power for empty. So you just run redstone signals out of this actually. And then some others here do not output energy. You can mess with those as you see fit. I'll warn you though, you don't want to break these things with an axe or a pickaxe or anything else, not even your hand. Even though it looks like it's going really fast and it's going to break, it's not. It's going to give you back only the machine block. And I'll show you about that right now while these are still filling. So let's get rid of the glass. MFE is what that thing's called. We'll come over here. And so you use a machine block, which we've gone over. It's just refined iron here in an O shape. But you also use these energy crystals, which is a diamond surrounded by 8 redstone, and you need 4 of those. As well as these 2 times insulated gold cables. You're going to need 4 of those. What you do is you take, gold, and you get 3 of it, and you put it across the center here. Wow. Okay then. Yeah, and you just kind of put it across the center, 3 right here. And then you'll grab 12 gold cables, and you put those gold cables right back in. You put rubber above them, and you're going to want to grab, 4 of them. So you'll grab 4 of them that are insulated gold cables. You'll put those 4 that are insulated right back in here, and leave the rubber above them, and you'll grab them, and it'll be 2 times insulated, if that makes sense. So, this is how you make the 2 times insulated gold cable. You just leave a rubber in here, and then the insulated gold cable as well. And this is another way you can make those cables. Just put the gold surrounded by rubber, or rubber bars. You probably don't have any rubber bars, so you just surround it by 4 rubber, and you'll get 4 of them that are insulated. And then you can just take those and plop them in like this, and get the 2 times insulated ones by putting the gold cables that are insulated right next to the rubber. Okay, let's see how far along these are getting. So this piece on the right here is how much lava is used on the amount that's in it right now. It holds 1 bucket worth of lava right here on the right hand side here. And that's showing how much of it's used. When you start it up, it automatically goes to this half. Just when you plop it down, it gets its first amount of lava. And then this is how much other lava it has in there. And you can drop buckets of lava in here, like deployers and retrievers if you know how to use that. If not, no big deal. This will put out so much electricity you won't know what to do with it. But something else you're going to need to do is a dimensional anchor here as well. That way this is always receiving and always producing electricity. I'm just going to set that down over here next to my MFE. I'm going to set it up to the 10 chunks there. It's a 3x3 area. The reason it's showing 18 up here is because I've got 2 of them running, 1 here and 1 in the nether. So that way, the one in the nether keeps that active, so it's always mining out or, pulling lava out of the nether. And this one always keeps this active, so it's always using that lava, and it doesn't just fill up the tanks we've got there. I'm going to wait for all these to fill up, because, this one over here has got nearly nothing in it, and this one is going to be the same over here, kind of a thing. So I'll come back once they've all got some in them, and show you what's next. Okay, so we're still waiting on those to fill up. What we're going to do is we're going to tie all these together, because the power doesn't go from one to the next kind of thing. We've got to set up some cables for them. And there's so many different cables you can choose from. You can use gold or copper or high voltage cables you can do with iron or glass fiber cables. And essentially what happens with cables is, I'll show you a bunch of the different ones. If you go copper cable, any cable you're going to want to make insulated by putting the rubber around it, just because otherwise if you walk next to it you'll get zapped, and it hurts a lot and you might end up dying. But the copper cables, for every 10 blocks you move, so if this generator is putting out 1 electricity, for every 10 blocks you move, you're going to lose 1. So if he's putting out 1 electricity, we're going to move 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, 5 block, 6 block, 7 block, 8 block, 9 block, 10 block, 11. So before we even get here to the power storage unit, all of its electricity has been lost. Now it puts out more than 1. It puts out about 44, 20 times a second. But the gold cables are slightly better. They lose 1 every it's closer to every 15 or 20. The high voltage cables, they're hideous. They lose lots of electricity, but they're designed to carry lots of them. So that's what you're going to run out of say a nuclear reactor, if you make one of those, you're going to run the high voltage cables out of that, and they're carrying so much electricity that it really doesn't matter if you lose a few here and there. What I use is the glass fiber cables. They will lose 1 electricity for every 44 blocks you go. So it's pretty effective. There's a couple different ways to make them. They are going to need diamonds regardless of how you go at it, which is kind of unfortunate, but I think they're worth it because it saves you a lot of electricity in the long run. Now, something I'll mention here is, oh yeah, save electricity, that's a good thing to do. But if you notice, we're really not using anything to make our electricity. I mean, nothing requires any upkeep. We don't need to give it resources. So if you decide, no, I want to do it the cheap way and just use copper, that's just fine. You're going to be losing electricity, but you're getting that electricity for free. So you're really not losing anything. You're not getting as much as you could be, but you're still getting it for free. Anyway, so there's glass fiber cables. There's 2 ways to go at them. You can either do a diamond in the center with redstone on either side and glass around it, which is going to make 4 of them, or you can do it with silver on the outside, diamond in the center and glass around it, and that'll make 6. So those are the 2 separate ways you can make it. Either way, what we're going to do here is we're just going to plop 1 wire, regardless of how you choose to do it, on top of each machine. And that's going to be shift and right clicking. That'll do that. If you just try right clicking, it'll bring you into the graphics user interface for the machine. It'll show you the information here on how full it is and that kind of stuff. All the important stuff that you don't care about. Okay, so we're just going to run 2 bands, 1 down each array here. Okay. Then we're going to connect them by running 1 right here. So those are connected. Then I'm going to run it here, and I'm going to drop it right on top of this when I decide I want to. And all of these are going to start up simultaneously because it realizes, hey, there's something there that I can put electricity in. And they're all going to kick in at the exact same time and just start cranking out electricity like crazy. So for the most part, they've all got some in them. Like this one, it's got a little bit here, just, half a bucket or so. Nothing that's in its storage unit, but that's okay. I'll just notice that we've got 0 of 600,000 electricity in here. All of them just turned on. And look how fast that's going. I mean, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. That's going crazy. We're already 10% full. And they're all still running. And if you look, they're really not using that much. All they've used is that half bucket that was in there, and they're still running. So like this one, all it had was that half bucket, and it's turned off. But it produced, probably 1/20th of this, so it produced 10,000 electricity on half of a bucket of lava. Sorry, yeah, 10,000 electricity. So, I think it's worth it. Just so you know, anytime you break this and move it, it loses all of its electricity. I mentioned that it really can't be broken with a pickaxe. You can use a BuildCraft wrench. I believe is this one. You can just come over here in item subsets, check BuildCraft. Items. Here's the BuildCraft wrench. So yes, it is this one. It's pretty cheap to build. I've already gotten one. So it's just a stone gear, which is a wooden gear surrounded by stone, which is a sticks, and 3 iron here. And you can come up and just right click on it, I believe. Or it's left click and hold. I'm not exactly sure, I forget. And it'll pick that thing up. Just so you know, it will lose all of its electricity though. So that's how you get your infinite power source. Yeah. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any videos you want me to make, leave it in the description. Or, sorry, leave it in the replies. And if you've got any questions, you can either leave it there or email me at commonnerd21@gmail.com. And I hope to see you all later. So as you can see, it just finished filling it. So it's wicked fast. And there are ways to use electricity faster than that makes it. Some things we'll get into later. Mass fabricators. They use tons of electricity, but they get you something called UU matter, which is essentially the universal glue. You can use it to make just about anything, including items that you can't make any other way. Like iridium, it's the strongest armor in the game. I mean, like, people whack you and nothing happens. People whack you with diamond swords and nothing happens, that kind of thing. So, that's all for this video. See you all later.